Welcome, celpip test takers. Okay, so you're gunning for a top score, right? Well, just memorizing vocabulary is absolutely not going to cut it. Today we are cracking the code on those sneaky Canadian winter vocabulary traps that are secretly tanking scores. This isn't just about testing your English. It's literally a test of how well you understand real Canadian life. And let me tell you, winter, that's where they hide the most cultural traps. So let's jump right in.
So, here's a massive question for you. Why do high-level English speakers constantly stumble on the listening section? I mean, you catch every word, your grammar is flawless, but you still pick the wrong answer. Why? Well, it's not an English proficiency problem at all. It's actually a failure to navigate Canadian cultural traps. If you don't fully grasp the reality of a Canadian winter, you are completely missing the hidden meaning behind the conversations.
Okay, let's quickly map out today's whiteboard syllabus. We're splitting our focus into 4 key areas. First up, we'll look at the winter exam traps themselves. Then, we dive into commuting hazards during extreme weather. After that, we'll cover indoor survival with a homeowner maintenance guide. And finally, we'll pull it all together into a high-scoring mind map.
All right, let's tackle Section 1, Winter Exam Traps, and specifically, missing that crucial Canadian context.
Now get this, it's actually wild. A whopping 80% of candidates lose points simply because they lack Canadian cultural background. When you hear neighbors chatting in a listening prompt, they aren't just making small talk about the weather. They are literally discussing winter survival. If you're just translating words in your head, you're going to miss the hidden consequences. Things like forced cancellations, massive repair bills, or safety warnings. We really need to shift your mindset from just studying English to learning how to survive a Canadian winter.
Moving right along to Section 2, the first branch of our mind map, commuting hazards. This is what happens when you step out the front door. This table brilliantly illustrates 2 of the most commonly confused extreme weather hazards on the exam. On the left, we've got freezing rain. This is rain that instantly freezes the second it hits the ground. When you hear freezing rain, your brain needs to automatically lock on to slippery roads or power outages. Now on the right, look at snow squall. The trick here is the consequence. A snow squall leads to a whiteout, which means 0 visibility. So if the audio mentions a whiteout, they are talking about a snow squall, definitely not freezing rain.
Let's look at a real exam sample sentence. Schools were closed today due to dangerous freezing rain overnight. Now, if you only focus on the word rain, you'd probably be thinking, why would rain close down a school? But once you drop into that Canadian context, it clicks. Overnight freezing rain turns the entire city into a massive, highly dangerous ice rink. The direct, undeniable logic here is freezing rain equals closures and danger.
Okay, let's rapidly map out what we call the snow day chain reaction. When 30 centimeters of snow dumps down, it triggers a snow day, right? Schools and businesses shut down. But if you have to commute, that snow turns into a wet, muddy mess called slush. The moment you hear slush on the exam, immediately connect it to requiring waterproof boots to stop your feet from getting totally soaked. Finally, navigating these roads means you absolutely need winter tires. And here's the trap. You don't just use winter tires when it snows. You actually need them the second the temperature drops below 7 degrees Celsius. Oh, and they are legally mandatory in Quebec.
Now here is a massive cultural trap for you, the block heater. If you're in extreme cold regions like Alberta, Saskatchewan, or Manitoba, this isn't some luxury niche car accessory. It is an everyday survival habit. You literally plug your car's engine into an electrical outlet outside your house to keep it warm overnight. If you don't plug it in, your car is absolutely not starting in minus 30-degree weather. If you know what this equipment does, you're going to instantly spot the right answer.
All right, let's pivot to Section 3, the second branch of our mind map, inside survival. We're shifting from the roads to the cultural responsibilities of Canadian homeownership.
So, the overarching strategy here is represented by one crucial verb, to winterize. This is the timeline every homeowner follows. In autumn, you've got to clean out the eaves troughs, those are your roof gutters, and drain the outdoor faucets. During winter, you need to replace your furnace filter every 1 to 3 months. And when spring rolls around, you better check that sump pump in the basement to handle the snow melt. Build this exact chronological timeline in your head, and those home maintenance listening questions will be a breeze.
Let's zoom in on that autumn step, because what's really interesting about this slide is the cause and effect. Why does the exam care if you know what an eaves trough is? Well, if a homeowner in the listening prompt is complaining about a leaking roof in January, it's almost always because they forgot to clean the fallen leaves out of their eaves trough in the fall. That trapped water freezes into a literal ice dam, forcing water back inside the house. So remember, ignoring the eaves trough leads directly to an expensive roof leak trap.
Moving into winter, let's talk about the furnace filter. A question might ask, why is the speaker going to the hardware store for a filter? With your new cultural background, you know it's not just about staying warm. Replacing that filter improves the furnace's efficiency, drastically reduces energy costs, and keeps the indoor air quality fresh when your windows are sealed shut for 6 months straight.
Okay, so the crucial point hits in spring with the sump pump. Why does this show up on the test? 2 words: spring snowmelt. When all that winter snow suddenly melts, groundwater levels spike. The second you hear snowmelt or heavy rainstorms on the exam, your brain needs to flash a huge warning sign for basement flooding. And the ultimate Canadian solution to that hazard? You guessed it, the sump pump.
Okay, let's wrap this up with Section 4, bringing it all together into our high-scoring mind map.
I want you to basically sear this final whiteboard review right into your memory. This is your ultimate tool for conquering the reading and listening sections. For outside hazards, make sure you can differentiate the slippery danger of freezing rain from the zero visibility whiteouts of snow squalls. For your commuter strategy, automatically link slush with waterproof boots and freezing temps with winter tires and block heaters. For inside traps, always remember that homeowners must winterize. And for your maintenance strategy, just follow the seasons. Manage those eaves troughs in the fall, furnace filters in the winter, and sump pumps for the spring snowmelt. You absolutely have the cultural context now to crush these exam traps.
You are now fully equipped to sidestep those winter traps and secure your high score. But take a look at this final question. You now know exactly how to winterize a house, but are you ready for the Canadian summer exam traps? From suburban cottage etiquette to navigating wildfire warnings, the summer season has a completely different set of cultural vocabulary you need to master. But hey, that's an explainer for another day. For now, study this mind map and good luck out there on the exam.